Hi, I'm Sonny and welcome to the Tower Yoga YouTube channel. Today we're going to work on a little bit of Tai Chi. So in our Tai Chi class, we're working on several different areas of Tai Chi practice. In Tai Chi, you have the form, which is what most people associate with Tai Chi practice. But besides that, there's a lot of different areas that you can practice. Tai Chi just didn't pop up out of nowhere, fully formed, with the 108 movement form. It was organically built through intention, observation, and just movement training, and just training your body. So within our class, we practice in a few different areas. We do the form, and we also do some basic loosening exercises, Tai Chi walking, Tai Chi single movement, all these different things. But today, we're gonna do some loosening exercises and do a short tutorial of the first few movements of the Chen Style Tai Chi form. But first, let's go ahead and get started with our loosening exercises. So start with your feet, just a nice relaxed stance, and just swing from side to side. You've probably done this a bunch of times in your life when you were killing time as a kid. You might have seen a kid do this recently when they're killing time. So we all have this in our memory banks. So lift the heel, lift the knee. Imagine you're pouring your waist and feel the arms gently swing from side to side like they were out the car window and you were driving. And try to shoot for perpetual motion so there's a rhythm and a tempo that you can work within to maintain. Keep lifting from the crown of the head. And then ground the heels. So now the heels aren't lifting off the ground, but you feel that same turning. Head stays on center line for now. So you might see the arm and the shoulder come into view each time. And for the next one, we lift out and drop. And lift and drop and lift. So think about reaching. Reach to create that lift up the side body into the armpits, up the shoulders. And then just let the arms swing naturally. Keep the head on center. It can kind of drift a little bit. We don't want to force it, but don't let it swing just yet. Now swing it. So open, close, open, close. Good, and relax. So maybe that was a little bit more challenging, a little bit more tiring than you thought it was. Tai Chi usually is like that for people. It usually looks really simple, but then all of a sudden you start doing it, and you're like, wow, it's kind of hard. But it's accessible once you understand the method of training. So we're gonna go through those again really quickly and just talk about them. And then at your own leisure, you can just go back and practice these as you like. These are great to do daily, twice daily, whenever you need to loosen up, okay? So, tips from the beginning and throughout all of them. Lift from the crown of the head. Be the tetherball pole, right? So here, everything wraps around that sense of lifting. And I feel this sort of internal rotation. And if I were to slow this down, there's a little hug. You see I'm hugging myself? And I release it. And there's a hug. And a hug. And a hug. So here, think I can hold this and let it go. Hold this, let it go. So you see how the motion is kept going through this sort of catch and release. Catch and release. And there's a clear place where my arms are going to if I slowed it down. Now, we ground this, and what you're gonna look for now is a little bit more up and down coming from the legs because you're no longer lifting them up. So that has to come from within the structure, from the hip and the waist communication, okay? And we still keep this same hug, 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 right? And then now the next one, this is when usually people get tripped up a little bit, is as we release, we lift and we reach. So if I'm reaching, 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 and let that go. Reach, 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 let that go. Reach, 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 let that go. If I only reach one direction, that's the direction I go, right? So by doing this, we get this nice extension and we release it. Nice extension, release it. So the whole time we're getting this motion through the waist, which is what we want. And then the very last one is we open. So right from here, we are pushing away like the brakes of a car so that our mass is rooted over this leg. So we've created an empty, full, an open, and a close, a straight and a curve, all these kind of nice, really good Tai Chi yin yang concepts. And then we close it, open it. And so we're getting a push, and a push, and a push. And you get better at this, you're gonna feel this coming down into your legs, and it becomes a nice little leg workout to pump energy through the knees, through the ankles, right up into your hip and waist. And so it's a really great exercise, these Tai Chi loosening exercises. I've been doing these for 20 something years. I was not this coordinated when I started. So keep after it. And the best tip I can give you for these, consistency. Each day, 5 minutes, relax, loosen. Don't get too concerned with whether you're doing it right or wrong, because it'll just work itself out in the wash if you do it enough. That's the beauty of Tai Chi, okay? So now that we're all loosened up, let's work on the form. So the first move of the form in Chen Style Tai Chi is called opening, or Chi Shou, raising hands. And it contains the beginning energies of Tai Chi, the 4 main energies. And it's a really great movement to practice over and over and over again, because when you do your Tai Chi, you always start from the beginning. And this is found in pretty much every Tai Chi style, some variation of this beginning move, okay? So let's go ahead and look at it. So from the side, we want to start in a very natural position, okay? And we're going to begin by softening downward, okay? Softening down. We don't just bring the arms up. Think about getting ready to jump. You would go down and you would jump up. So we soften downward and draw upward. We want the arms straight out, fingertips down. Then when they reach this line, we pull them back and in, creating a draw that also comes into my hips. As you can see, I've come back down into a more crouched in, gathered position. So the arms expand up and we gather in to center. All the joints working together, okay? And then from here, we should feel like we can project outward. So arms up, gather in. So now from here, you're going to reach out. And the feeling you want to look for is the hands going into a slot. Like imagine there are gloves there. Like you're gonna, your hands go right into the gloves. Bam, and you got your gloves, okay? So arms up, retract them back, and then fit them right into the gloves, okay? And then pull in and down, getting towards the solar plexus. You should feel a little bit, not necessarily tense or tight, but that this space has gotten compressed, right? You've compressed into this space, and now you're going to release it downward, okay? And so up, draw in. Reach out, fit the hands into a groove, pull them back towards the ribs, and then right down into the ground. Good. Now, it's important when we do this to build a coherent frame so that when we move, we feel our whole frame move, not moving within the frame too much. We don't want to constantly be shifting our frame. Like a car, if the axles of the car were constantly like shifting every time you tried to turn, that would make for a really bumpy, weird ride, right? So we gotta make sure that our frame stays contained and the movement runs really smooth through this frame, okay? So this first move works very vertical. You notice my hands do not cross center line. They stay right here. They go up the left and right sides respectively, back down and out and back in, right? Tai Chi takes nothing for granted. So it starts off with, hey, can you keep yourself, right, lined up? The second move now goes off on the other direction. Now, Tai Chi does have its roots in a martial art, but when we interact with the movements, we want to first interact with them from the physics, the mechanics, the sensory feeling of it, because that's going to what opens up our movement over time. It's going to open up our shape and scope of our body. If we lock the movement in too soon into something tiny, it's going to keep our energy tiny. It's not going to let our energy expand, right? Or our concept of the practice expand. So for this movement, all we want to think about after we've done our first one, okay, and I'm going to do the mirrored image for you guys, is now we're going to take a wheel. This wheel, instead of running vertically like so, this wheel is going to run on an angle, okay, a slight diagonal. And so I come into this position, I move off to one side, I go up the wheel, down the wheel, and then I push across the wheel, right? Across the middle of it. And I relax, okay? So the first move, once again, is going up, down the sides. You can review that as you need to refresh yourself on that. The second one, if you're doing it on your own, following as a mirrored image, you're gonna be on the right side, okay? I'm doing it here on the left side for you guys. So here, we let it bubble up. You see my arms and elbows break towards this side, like something's going, oh no you don't, and you gotta push it right back down, right? So it comes up, and we put it back down, and we let it go on this wheel, back towards where it came, and then the palms push it. And the hands are gonna end up in this position. So we have an internal rotation and an internal rotation here, okay, across. And they work, you see, keep them connected. So once again, that second move, offset, push it down, turn the wheel, push across the wheel. I'm going to do it facing the back so you can see it on the right side, as if you were following along in class. Okay, things to look out for. That'll help you make it better. Why is this a big deal? Why do we think, let's turn this big wheel? Why is this going to be helpful for our movement? Because if we want this wheel to move, right, we got to feel what's happening here in response to that. So as we go off-centered, okay, and I start to do this wheel, watch my knees, okay? I'm going to let go of the sense of stability in my legs a little bit, the bow I'm trying to create, to show you what we don't want to do, okay? We don't want that. So you see how there's all that twisting happening at my knees? Each time that twists, that's an inflection point. Each time that twists, that's an inflection point, a weak point, where the body's losing energy up the vertical chain, okay? So as we shift, and you see the turn, that turn has to come up into the waist, okay? So that we can bring it back, and that energy gets directed vertically down the hips into the ground, not transferred in this plane too much below the water line. So it's about an awareness. You just have to feel down to the ground and from the ground up. If you look just from the top down, you're not going to pay attention to it. But if you feel from the ground up, now, as I go, I can maintain this more. Now, in relation to that, the arms. The arms can be flowing as you like. This could be big, it could be small. I can do this small. I can do it big, right? I can do it sort of, mechanical. It really doesn't matter. What we're looking for is how the body first is shifting here. Once we can feel that more clearly, then this can be polished and worked upon. So first, just relax, swoop through that wheel, okay? Let's do it one more time together. I'm gonna face this way, so it's just like in class. So starting from the very beginning. All right, see, Tai Chi is in the simple things. It's in a single movement, it's in stillness. It doesn't have to be contained only in this really long form. It's an intention that we bring into our practice. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you in class sometime.